I have had the last 3 days off. I had 4 days here in a row, and
Nice.
it has been a glorious 3 days of being nothing but a lazy lout.
Well, it seems like I followed that pattern as well. Although my sleep schedule is still all fucky. When I have been awake, it's been literally nothing but watching Stranger Things and 5 seasons of The Office and just kind of chilling.
Yeah, well, I've spent a lot of bedroom time this weekend. Just kind of squirreled away in the bedroom, drinking adult beverages and binge watching TV.
Boy, the rock star life we're both leading, right?
Well, you know what? It's almost like a recharge of the brain for me.
Sure.
It's like I just never realized how burned out you are from day in, day out schedule, because my day starts at like 5:30 in the morning and it ends about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. My day lately's been starting about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and going until about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm all fucked up schedule wise, but whatever. It's good.
It's really strange to me. And I know it's a mental thing, and it's amazing how your brain works, that if I know that I don't have to be anywhere, I will literally just zonk out for hours, and the weirdest thing is that I always get my best sleep between 4 a.m. and like 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's your best sleep?
Yeah, that's my best sleep. That's my most peaceful, zoned out sleep. And I realized that if I didn't have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, I'd probably sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock every day if I could.
Yeah, you know what? You say that, but if you were working for yourself, a lot of times, like for me personally, I like to get up early, even though I shouldn't. I should go to California time and just work like noon to 8 or something. If I could just do 8 hours, that would be nice. But if I could, I should go to like noon to 8. But I like the early morning because people are still drinking their coffee and shit, and they're not awake to bug me. It's the one time of the day, literally, that I can get work done without the phone ringing and without conference calls or, interviews for the CMS or anything. That 8 to about 11 o'clock, no one fucks with me.
Right.
It's good.
Well, that's a little bit different. You are a customer service based company, so yeah, of course, people are going to try to get a hold of you to discuss whatever it is they need to discuss. And
exactly.
Yeah, I get that part. But you know what? When years ago, it's so weird how old habits die hard. That when I lived in California between 85 and 91,
right,
and in the gig that I had, the job that I had, I used to work 7 days on and then have 7 days off.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And the thing is that I was a garage operations manager for Roadway, so there was a crew on the opposite week that and they did their 12 hours a day, 7 days straight while I was off, and then they would go off on their week off, and I'd come on, and then we had the day crew that came in at like 6 and worked till 6, and then the night crew came in at 6 and they worked till 6 in the morning.
Right.
And then every 6 months we would flip with them, so you didn't work nights all the time, and they didn't they didn't get to work days all the time. But I always liked the nighttime hour because I'd come in at 6 o'clock in the evening, I'd work till 6 in the morning, and then or what was it, the best for me? No, let's see. I liked it during the daytime because I would get off at 6 in the evening, and then I had my whole evening free, and it was it was the whole. Let's see. No, wait a minute. I'm confused. You're
all fucked up.
I know. I'm trying to remember how this worked. We had I think. Oh, I know what it was. We were changing times and stuff. So then we had it to where we were working 9 to 9.
Right.
And I would like to work. I would like to work till the 9 o'clock evening.
Okay.
And then I could go out till like midnight or 1. And then I could go to sleep, and then I could sleep till like 7 or 8, and then I could go to work at be at work at 9.
Sure, it's like a regular day.
Yeah, but I could go out at night and still get 8 hours of sleep.
Sure. Well, my favorite, other than the slight issue of being burned nearly to death, my my favorite job as far as hours was the steel mill. I was working third shift. It was 11:30 at night to like 7:30 in the morning, and that was the shit because I've never been like a regiment sleep guy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So for me that was like perfect. If I wanted to sleep during the morning and then do stuff during the day, I could. If I wanted to do stuff, during like right out of work, I could do stuff, get to like the DMV or shit like that before it got all crowded and shit. It was like the perfect schedule for me. I loved working third shift. Plus there were no bosses that were there.
Yeah, true.
That was the best part. There was no bosses. So, we got good with the quote unquote shift supervisor, and half the time we'd be out back sleeping or whatever. Dude, in the summer, because it was so fucking hot there, where the furnace that I worked on, it had a table right behind it, like you would open a door, like we would open a door for venting and stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a table, it was like a desk, an old steel business desk.
Right.
And I used to keep a pillow in a plastic bag in one of the drawers of the desk. And once we got the furnace to where it was set up, I would just I had a little radio back there. I'd turn on the radio and I'd climb up on top of that little desk and just sleep for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Instead of being like George Costanza and fixing up a bed under the desk, you had one on top of the desk.
Right on top, because nobody cared. The shift supervisor would come over in like 3 hours or so, wake me up and be like, "Hey, where are we at?" "Well, let me check."
Where are we at? Yeah, but I'll tell you what, when I know that I don't have to get up or go anywhere, I can sleep until I wake up. On the days off,
mm-hmm.
I might wake up and it might be 7:30 in the morning, but then again, I might wake up and it might be 10:30 in the morning. Nothing disturbs me, but during the week when I have to be somewhere, it's like clockwork, 5:30 in the morning,
Yeah, when I'm on my regiment schedule, I mean, I never use an alarm clock. The only time I ever actually set any kind of an alarm at all is to get up to do the show. That's right. The only time, because I take that nap at like 6 o'clock, and then I'll sleep right through. Because it's 6 o'clock. It's late enough that you could fall asleep and then wake up at like 1 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
So I set the alarm, and that's the only time I use an alarm ever.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird because, I do set the alarm on my iPhone every day, but I never sleep to it. You know what I mean? I always wake up 5 to 10 minutes before it goes off.
Yeah. Well, what's nice, I don't have an alarm clock anymore. I just have I have the Google Home, the home screen.
You mean your spy machine? My
spy machine, exactly.
Yeah, spies in and listens to everything you say.
Of course. You know what? It hears a lot of Stranger Things in the office. That's about it. That's all it hears of me snoring. Maybe some jerking off. That's
right.
But fucking, you can set it to play whatever song you want when it wakes you up. So I have it set to Holy Wars by Megadeth.
Okay.
That's my awake song. So I'll just be in a deep sleep. All of a sudden I hear, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, whoa, I'm wide awake really fast. It's fucking works for me. Gets me right out of bed.
The alarm clock for the true metal enthusiast.
Yeah, it's great. Dude, I love that thing. I know it's a spy machine. I don't care. What are they going to hear? Me saying, "Oh, I like this Vanessa Lee on fucking X videos. Look at her fucking great ass while I'm pulling my dick." So what? I say it on the radio. I don't care. Yeah. What are they really going to hear?
Yeah, I know. It's just bizarre because, especially when you hear these stories about about something that happened in the home, whether a domestic violence situation or perhaps a break-in happened and stuff. And then you hear in the investigation, well, they're going back to get the recordings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's like, where did you get the record? Oh yeah, we're recording you all the time.
Yeah, the Google Home, sure.
Yeah.
Well, believe me, if I ever was to end up in another live-in relationship, those Google Homes would be getting the fuck out of here. I'd be doing that. I'd be putting my phone itself in a box or something.
Yeah.
So be no sound.
Well,
fuck that.
But I'm even hearing that some of the smart TVs are either got the camera in them, whether you know it or not.
Oh yeah.
And they also got the the listening devices. Your television is watching you while you're watching it.
Dude, unless you live like Jackal in 1976 with a black and white TV and a flip phone, you're being listened to and tracked anyway. Anybody that's got a fucking phone, anybody that's got a computer with a webcam on it, any of these devices, TVs, Google Homes, whatever, it's all recorded. They know where you are all the time.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, though.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
And no, Skippy, my Google Home doesn't have a lot of DNA on it. I don't watch porn on my Google Home. Now, my iPad might look like I spilled a jar of mayonnaise on it, but fucking definitely not my Google Home.
A jar of mayonnaise.
I can't imagine. I should do that some night. Blue light my iPad and just see what a disaster it looks like. My cummy fingers fucking turning videos off and shit. Disgusting.
That's a real appetizing thought. Hey, where have my cummy fingers been?
Oh,
let's take a scan of the whole room is just covered in jizz.
Yeah, because every time anybody jerks off, the first thing they do is extensively scrubs their hands clean before they do anything else. Get the fuck out of here. They're way too germ phobic.
Yeah, well, that's why they always talk about the remote controls in hotel rooms. Those are the most filthy things ever.
Mm-hmm. Or dude, I mean, let's face it. They don't take exactly great care of the linen in the hotels, even if they do wash it every day. I mean, they're not putting special care into it.
Yeah, well, it's the top spread that you got to watch out because they rarely ever change that. Obviously they change the sheets.
Yeah.
And stuff, but it's the top bedspread that you got to watch out for.
What about the doorknobs that every one of these fucking cleaning ladies use? They open every door, and what do? They clean up cum-soaked fucking bed. They're not wearing gloves. They go in there barehanded and take, if the hotel has 500 rooms, that's 500 handfuls of jizz every single day.
Yeah.
Every day at 11 o'clock, you got 500 handfuls of jizz.
Yeah.
It's touching every door and every fucking everything in the room. Hotel rooms are if you're a germphobe and you stay in a hotel, you just are pretending that you're not a germphobe for that minute.
It's all a state of mind. It's all in your head.
Yeah. I happily sleep on cum-covered blankets and shit. Fuck. It's a fucking hotel. What am I going to do? Not sleep? Even at the hotel, if you sleep on the floor, do you really think there wasn't some guy dogging out his chick on the floor at some point there?
And the floors are even worse.
Yeah. And guy fucking blows his load on the floor, banging some chick in the ass and just wipes his dick on the fucking floor a little bit.
Or wipes it on the bedspread.
Yeah, or some of that pre-cum he pulls out and starts slapping her in the face, and some of that fucking pre-cum drips off his dick onto the floor. It's there. Please.
Boy, you do watch a lot of porn, don't you?
I love porn. I love it.
Porn.
Hey, I love porn, man. I'll make no bones about it. I don't care if it makes me a sick fuck or whatever. I love porn.
Yeah, I know. I can see you got this whole visual in your head about these hotel dalliances. Yeah.
Of course. Dude, anymore, the way I watch porn is I think of different. It's always like, now, in the old days, I used to look up like positions and shit. Right. I used to like reverse cowgirl. I was like really into that for a minute. And I would watch just video after video after video of that. Now it's all scenarios. Now it's secretary sucks boss's dick, or fucking birthday blowjob, or anything like that. It's always a scenario now. Which is porn. As porn evolves, it gets more fun. It's just more fun. It's amazing that the only thing that has changed porn I mean, the porn hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed is that the search engines are better.
Yeah, well, you can basically look up any situation that just sort of crosses your mind, right?
Yeah, you can, and you can generally find it. You know, if you look up dude fucking at a zoo, you'll find somebody fucking with like elephants or something behind them.
Right, of course.
You can find anything. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
You're the new Tony the Tiger of porn.
That pussy being fucked. It's great.
Yeah, it's like Pornhub, my #1 search engine for porn. It's great.
Great. Actually, Pornhub would be #2, my friend.
Oh my. Well, enlighten us, Mr. Aiken, since you seem to be an expert on all this.
The #1 porn site is Xvideos. Xvideos.com is #1. Pornhub is okay, but they try too hard to fucking inflict the gayness on you.
Oh, dude, so Pornhub pushes an agenda?
Pornhub has a little bit, when you search anything, you end up with a gay, like it brings up like 12 to 15 videos, and there'll be at least one of one dude fucking another dude in that scenario.
So do you think their algorithm is actually just made to do that?
No, I just think that they just used whatever was the default when they built the website.
Okay.
Default search, they didn't do it. Xhamster is good there, Aspire, but it's not as good as Xvideos. Not even. Xhamster, the problem with Xhamster is that they're on the iPad, their videos freeze up sometimes. And you spend a lot of time refreshing, and then you got to start over and figure out where you were.
Wow, you really put a lot of research into this.
And I have put a lot of hours banging my dick.
What device works best with what site, and what site does what, and what searches come up on certain websites. And
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I watch porn a lot.
It's amazing you have a thriving business. When do you get work done?
I got 2 hands, my friend.
Wow. Well, I still think that since you write those little mini books, you need to write that mini book about all you're checking Mr. Skin, and then going over to Fap Me or whatever the fuck that thing was, or the Fappening, and
the Fappening, yeah.
Yeah, going over here and then cross-referencing it to here, and you know.
Oh, dude, you totally gave me that idea. I did write it down as something I might do.
I mean, even as a joke, it probably would, even if you did a tongue-in-cheek type thing, but yet had still factual stuff in there, I'll bet you would sell it.
I'd make $1,000.
I think it'd probably be more. As popular as porn is, I'm sure there are guys out there that have a lot of the same thoughts that you do, and it's like you just sort of walk them through the whole process.
I've been thinking about it, about writing like the whole porn index or the porn dictionary or whatever. How to surf porn in 2020.
Oh, it's surfing porn for dummies.
I think I'd get sued for that name.
Well, something like that.
Yeah. A dummy's guide, maybe.
Dummy's guide to searching celebrity porn or something like that.
That's a really good idea.
I think you should do that. I just as a goof and just out of curiosity as to what kind of traffic you get, or how people who might actually buy it.
Yeah.
And go, oh, you know what? I never knew that before. Because I'm not into the porn hole thing that you do. Right. And then I had no idea about that. This makes an iPad freeze up, or this one seems to favor gay, or this one does this and that one does. Dude, I would never know that.
I definitely know the ins and outs of it. And literally the ins and outs of it. I didn't mean for that to be a pun, but whatever. No, and it is true. They're all different. Like, the big thing with porn, at least on the devices, is how you go to full screen. And that makes all the difference in the world on surfing porn, is if the full screen stays clear or not and doesn't freeze. And they're all different the way that they work. They all use and I don't want to get all techie here with my jerking off stuff, but they all use a different light box setting for their expansion to full screen, and some work and some don't.
Okay.
This is me using my computer. Putting my computer.
This is you putting your technical skills to work here and analyzing exactly what they were going for.
Right. This is why I'm such a good web guy, because I know the ins and outs of porn.
Right.
I know the technical of it.
Exactly. Now, what do you, since we're on this subject now you got me curious, what do you make of the whole animated porn thing?
I'm not into it personally. Some of it is really, really good, but it's just not my thing.
So just out of curiosity, what is the purpose behind making animated porn, since there's so much porn out there of every shape, size, color, creed, situation? What's the purpose of making animated porn in your opinion?
My opinion would be that this current generation is has so distanced itself from actual person on person action that and they've kind of immersed themselves into their gaming and into their manga and all their Comic-Con bullshit, that it's the porn that appeals to them.
It's porn for the gamers. Is that the deal?
Yeah, kind of, and not only gamers, but like the Comic-Con crowd that doesn't actually like physical interaction with other beings. They don't like the physical interaction, but they, like everybody else, they have a curiosity to porn, but they live their lives so fucking in that world of, comic book characters and comic book, stuff and whatnot, that they're attracted to that. They love to see a green drawn dick invading a purple woman's asshole.
Well, I don't even mean the kind of the weird stuff. I'm talking about just actual real looking people in animated form.
But it's kind of the same thing. It plays more to the Comic-Cons.
Okay.
It plays to the people that do not have interaction. These are the people that are watching anime porn are definitely not people that are at the bar trying to get some pussy on a fucking Friday night.
And those are those the same people that'll pay that? What was that chick we talked about a few months ago?
Yeah, I don't think they would pay her. She's a real person.
Yeah, but it's the same concept that, well, I don't want any real physical contact, but I'll give this girl $1,000 just to say hello to me.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I still don't think that the bulk of the people that watch animated porn would pay her. I think it's more the people that run around fucking playing Pokemon Go with their phones and shit. They don't have real interaction. They just run around capturing, drawings on their iPhone or on their Android or whatever. So once they capture a Pikachu, they want to see a Pikachu fucking the shit out of a Barbasol or whatever.
Jeez.
That's what they want.
Oh, that's a whole nother world. I can't, I have zero input on. I just don't pay attention to it. I don't care about it. It's just like, it's just bizarre.
It's big though. I will say
it's big. I know it exists. I know it's big. I know it's a whole industry and stuff, but boy,
I don't get it personally. I'd rather have my dick sucked than watch a cartoon character suck a cartoon of my dick, but
right.
It's easier for me to fantasize seeing a cock that almost looks like mine getting blown, I guess,
So anyway, there you go. People taking stuff from us. They're taking our stuff, man.
Yeah. Maybe it's secretly us that's selling the posters.
Yeah.
We just haven't told anybody.
Right.
Why are you promoting this, Neely? We got to make our money.
Exactly. Another thing that I just stumbled across, and I know I shared it with you.
Yeah.
And Ozzy Ace. Yes, I mentioned you, Ozzy Ace. Mm-hmm. I know you don't think you get enough mention on the show, but if you're listening, Ozzy, I'm mentioning you. Our good friend, Ozzy Ace from Australia.
Did he really say that?
Well, he said that I got to submit some fake news or something to get some kind of mention on the show, because he sends me 1 million emails a week.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, just today. And
Mm.
this is not a complaint, but just today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He sent me 7 emails today.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, Ozzy. You're still not in first place. Mark Miller is in first place. Mark Miller sends 6,000 emails a week. Mark Miller literally does Neely's homework for him.
Yeah.
And we never mention him, even when we use his stories.
Mark Miller, yeah. But John Phillips sends in stuff, and Mark Miller sends in stuff, and Sal sends in stuff, and Phil and Samuel sends in stuff, and who else sends me stuff? Brian Bauman sends me stuff, and I mean the email box gets full.
Yeah, it does.
And I find stuff through the week myself. Chris finds stuff through the week. You send me stuff. I got to just pick and choose. The show's only 6 hours. And when we get on a topic, I mean, I can't cover everything, and I appreciate your efforts and stuff, but you know, I'm going to mention you now.
Yeah.
You sent over a video, which I had just stumbled across yesterday myself, of our good friend, Miles the Shoe Schumann.
Yes.
He interviewed Vince Neil.
Oh, wow.
And boy, I'll tell you, looking at Vince, Jesus Christ.
Looks bad, huh?
Did you watch any of it?
I didn't have time to watch it.
Oh, okay. Because I was just like, wow, who is this? Who is this Macy Day float coming up on the stage? This 4th of July parade float.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So what are you saying? He gained a little weight?
Well, I think, you know, I saw something like a month or two ago where he's trying to, you know, get healthy and eat right and blah, blah, blah. But man, he's got a long way to go.
How much of it is booze?
Oh, I'm sure probably most of it.
It's all alcohol.
Yeah. But he's got a big pumpkin head sitting on a big basketball belly with hair and glasses.
Nice.
And it's just like, dude,
what description you're making there.
I mean, it's just hard to look at, you know, and he and Miles, you know, I know Miles, I've run into him, you know, obviously we've had him on the show, and, you know, the story of how we even got in contact with him, you know, is interesting in itself. And, you know, I've run into him 2 or 3 times at NAMM, and I saw him just this past January at NAMM.
Okay.
I told you that story. It was kind of funny that Bob Nalbandian and I and my nephew, we were just leaving NAMM.
Right.
And we were just standing out in the hallway there on our way out of the convention center. And Bob says to me, he says, hey, he says, you know who we didn't see was Miles. He said, did you see Miles anywhere? I said, no, I didn't run into him anywhere. Just as we said that, he and his mom walked up.
Gimme.
I mean, it was just that instantaneously. It's like we mentioned them and poof, they just appeared.
Right.
It was really weird. But so, you know, we ran into Miles, and he's really, really into the whole broadcasting and radio thing. And he does his own show. And you know, now he's hosting this band camp thing and interviewing Vince Neil on the stage. And, you know, I'll play just a little bit of it because obviously it's the video that you want to see.
Right.
But, you know, he's very, what do you want to call it? He doesn't hold back at all. He's just a showman now.
Well, good.
Our good friend Miles.
Love that.
Yeah. So he's not afraid. He's not bashful. You know, he's just up there just bringing it. So here we go.
All right.
You know what we're about to do? You know who's about to come up on the stage? Let's give a big, warm welcome to Vince Neil of Motley Crue.
Vince just waddling up on stage. It's really something to see Vince.
Oh,
when you think about the legacy of Motley Crue and you know what we guys of our age were introduced as Motley Crue. Vince used to be this really skinny, blonde-haired, energetic singer guy,
Right.
you know, just up on stage. And now here's this guy who's probably 200 pounds more than what he weighed then and just kind of waddling up on stage.
Dude, he just doesn't care anymore.
I understand. I get it.
He's got $200 million. He's got the hot wife, you know, so what does he give a shit? He don't care.
I guess.
You know, he's like, yeah, fuck it. And he doesn't want to live to be old, you know, because every day he has to think about killing Razzle and his dead daughter and shit. So, you know, he wants to die about 60. He don't want to live that much.
He's almost there now.
Like I said, he wants to die about 60. See, this is the thing. I always think this because I think it myself. The reason to be thin as you get older is to live longer. But some people just don't want to live longer. Some people don't want to be that old. You know, and I would bet anything with all of Vince's bullshit that he has with honestly, with his daughter dying and killing Razzle and, you know, all of his bullshit that's come from that. I can't think that he wants to live with himself as an old broken down guy with nothing but those memories in his fucking head.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just kind of, you know, he's living in a state of depression just on his way out.
You think?
I do think that.
Well,
I mean,
here's what I've, you know, and I know I've said this before on the show, but if you're an active performer, which obviously he is because he's still out there touring and doing all the things that he does. In my opinion, just as someone who's somewhat of a performer myself, you know, us doing the show, I try to stay presentable. You know what I mean? It's just like you kind of owe it. Not only do you bring the show to the fans, but you sort of got to keep that image, I guess. That's just my own personal opinion. Sure. I know obviously this is not the case, but even the old fucks and Kiss. I mean, even Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, as old as they are, at least they've kept it together to continue performing and, you know, bring in the fans. Again, I know they're in makeup and stuff and they don't look as young as they used to, but at least they've kept it in shape.
But don't you think they don't have that depression? I think Vince Neil, honestly, I think Vince Neil lives in depression. I honestly think that, you know, everything that he's tried to do other than Motley Crue has been a failure. You know, had a kid, it died. Had a fucking friend, it died. Tried to go solo, it died. You know, couldn't do anything away from his other bandmates. Had to do everything with his other bandmates. And now he's just, you know, now he's old. His time is over. He knows that, you know, and now that his time is over, he's like, oh, fuck, what am I sticking around for?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, dude, you've seen, how many videos have you watched of Vince? Does it look like he still gives a shit about being on stage?
Well, I don't know why he still does it.
Because he doesn't know anything else.
Okay.
I honestly think that if Vince Neil was not on tour, he's shotgun to the face guy. He's Kurt Cobain guy.
So he stays on tour and performs just to keep from killing himself?
I would think so, yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting concept.
You think something different?
I have no idea. I don't know the reason why. I don't know what he does.
I mean, I know I said he had $200 million, which is probably a gross overestimate, but I mean, realistically, he's got to have 50, don't you think?
You would think. I mean, just in the last, decade and a half that Motley Crue toured around and they played not stadiums, but arenas.
Yeah.
Everywhere that they went, I'm sure that they got a big cut of the money. And let's see, when did Vince rejoin? 96?
Something like that, yeah.
96. So, and they hung it up in 2015, right?
Yeah.
So almost 20 years more of touring and doing it every year. I mean, I don't think they came off the road for more than a few months before they launched another tour, right?
Not real, other than when there was a 6 a.m. record, no. But even then, he didn't. He would go and do solo shows.
Yeah. So you figure, let's just say he made $10 million a year.
Yeah.
10 million. That 10 times 20. That's $200 million that he grossed.
And he wasted, you know, and it goes back to what I'm saying. Everything outside of Motley Crue that he ever did failed. That Arena Football League team failed. Having a kid died. Having a friend died. Solo records didn't sell.
Yeah, he had the Dr. Feelgood restaurants.
Yeah, failed.
He had the tattoo parlors.
failed. Everything failed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to think that he's, there's a depression about this guy. And let's face it, even if he has 50 million in the bank right now, why is he on tour all the time?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. And if he continues to tour or wants to be a performer, in my opinion, again, I don't know why he wouldn't keep himself in better condition. But if you want to throw in the depression factor, and if let's go with your philosophy that the only reason he continues to work and tour with his depression, the whole give a shit factor, but as long as I'm on the road and have purpose, I won't shoot myself.
Yeah, well, and I honestly think that there's probably some truth to that, and on some level. I mean, for God's sakes, why wouldn't he take a vacation? Why wouldn't he take 6 months and go to an island? He used to go and fuck porn stars on an island for fucking 6 months. Now he's fucking.
Well, he was also into the racing too. He was kind of like with Stephen Piercy. He was doing the whole racing thing for a long time as well.
And how'd that work out?
Well, he did it more for hobby than anything else.
Yeah, I just honestly think that this dude doesn't have any vision of later in life. He's just, his time has come, his time has passed, and now he doesn't know what to do. And the truth is, why is that guy? And I can relate as a fellow fat guy. It's fucking hard being a fat guy and getting into shape. And if people are going to throw you $30,000 to $50,000 a night to be Fat Elvis, then fucking take the money. I mean, he's making A-list money, and he doesn't have to try.
Yeah, I agree. I'm complete. I guess for me, I'm only putting myself in his shoes. Mm-hmm. I guess there's no sense of any kind of like personal pride there at all.
Yeah, well, dude, some people don't give a shit.
Apparently not.
I'm one of them. I couldn't give two fucks.
But you're not a performer. You're not out on stage every night.
No, but even if I was, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Really?
No, I've never been that guy. Even when I was in the best shape of my life, when I was 190 pounds and ripped, still never gave a shit. I really gave two shits about, I got to go buy the best clothes and the best, I never was that guy. I always found those people to be fucking pompous douchebags. I always was the fucking give me a t-shirt and some sweats and I'm good guy.
Right.
Right. I never was, let me go out and buy a $200 shirt and the right pair of pants and, so that I can go out and get chicks in the club, man. Fuck that.
I hear you. So fun. You always put a good spin on things there, Chris.
Well, I have that thought process,
Yeah, it's just she's caught somewhere in time in my memory, but now you just destroyed it for me.
Right.
Well, when are you going to bug out?
Whenever we finish this segment.
Okay. Well, before you leave.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk a little bit of Stranger Things.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I finished it up today.
Yeah. Doesn't that suck? Now we got to wait a whole nother fucking year.
I know, but since we're talking about the 80s and everything, I thought this would be very appropriate.
Sure.
Because they did, and I agree with you, when you called me up, what was it, July 4th?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you had started watching Stranger Things at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I did.
I was just like, oh, that's out already. And you go, oh, yeah, dude, you're going to love this. They just brought back memories,
Right.
Well, I'm not going to I'll try not to spoil this too much for people.
No. Stop that. I'm going to spoil it. So if you don't want to know what happened, tune out.
Okay.
Because I'm going to talk about it. So
all right. That's
forget. You're not going to do what every other dumb radio show does and go, well, we're not going to try and spoil anything, but it was really good and it was fabulous and it was no. We're going to spoil it. If you don't want to know, tune out now. There's your warning. We're done.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, obviously the most striking thing for this, as far as people in my age group are concerned, is they did a fantastic job recreating 1984.
They really did.
They took a lot of time and detail in filming this thing at the local mall.
Mm-hmm.
And they had all the stores, all the accoutrement,
Right.
if you will, of the atmosphere that the mall of 1984 would have brought you. If you shopped at a Deep Bartolo owned mall, you would have recognized this place as every mall in America.
And I even, when I called you, I asked you that. I was like, you think they shot this at Randall Park Mall?
Yeah.
Because it looked exactly like there was the one shot where they showed the kids walking out of the J.C. Penney's at the end of the mall.
Right.
And I was like, motherfucker, we had a J.C. Penney's at the end of the mall.
Yeah, well, the anchor stores typically at these malls were like J.C. Penney's, Sears, Kaufman's or Horn's, depending on, what region you were in, the May Company.
Right.
Those were always the anchor stores.
Right. But even the scene, when they had the scene when they first came in upstairs and then they went down the steps.
Yeah.
The escalator, and it went right into a music store.
Yep.
Well, that's how it was at Randall Park Mall. You would walk right into Camelot Music right there.
Yeah, and I noticed that they revived the Sam Goody name on the music store. Yeah. I was just like, all right, Sam Goody.
I loved all the placement of the 80s stuff, the new Coke and the Sam Goody, and I loved all that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and I noticed that when they were showing Winona Ryder and what's his name?
What?
The sheriff.
I don't know what his Hopper is his name.
Yeah, leaving the state of Indiana, they actually had the 1980 governor's name
right
on the sign.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was Richard Orr was governor.
They did a good job on that show.
They did, and you could tell that the success of the show just because of the production. I mean, the production was good from day one, but they really did fantastic production for this season.
They did. The only complaint I have is that they didn't call their friends at Pinball PA to do the pinball machines that they had.
Yeah, that's true.
They had that one shot of the asteroids machine in the movie theater, and I was like, fuck, that should have been mine. I literally was like, that could have been my machine in there.
Yeah. But obviously, a big part of being at that mall was, they shot a lot of the scenes in the food court.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of the old style food court foods that they featured there, like Dippin' Dogs and all that stuff. And it was just like, holy shit, or Orange Julius, it's like that. Yeah. It's like, wow, they did a really good job recreating that.
They really, and even when Elle and the other girl jumped into the gap, and it was a gap. It looked like the gap. That was pretty cool that they recreated the gap like almost exactly the way the gap used to be back in the early 80s like that.
Right.
It was solid.
It was. And when the only question I had, and I know I had asked you, when Elle and Max went on a shopping spree, they didn't really explain where they got the money to do that.
Well, they were sucking cock in the fucking bathroom, maybe.
Because they were there shopping and buying clothes and all kinds of stuff. It's like, where did you guys get the money? Because that Max chick, she isn't rich.
No, she don't have any money.
And obviously Elle has no money. It's like, how did you buy that stuff? What'd you buy that with?
No, maybe Elle, morphed it out of somebody's pocket into hers.
She could have. She could have. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting that they went shopping. But it's like, who paid? Who paid for all this?
Yeah. So what did you think overall of the season?
Overall, it was really good. I was sorry to see Hop die.
If he's dead.
Well, that's true too.
If he's dead. I mean, they did show that extra scene at the end.
And it's like, not the American.
Yeah. So he might be in that cell.
He could be, but
they could have morphed him out somehow.
For all intents and purposes, you would think Hop the cop is dead.
I'm thinking he's still alive.
Okay.
Here's where I got lost. At the beginning, they showed Sean Astin, the guy from the Lord of the Rings that was like the boyfriend to Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
But then he wasn't anywhere else he was just in that one scene sitting on the couch with her.
Yeah, she was just remembering him.
Oh, was that just a memory? Because I thought he died in the previous season.
He did. He died in the last episode because one of those animals attacked him and ate him.
Okay, so I just got lost for a second. I was
she was sitting there. No, because when she refused Hop's invitation to go to dinner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she said she already had plans, and then all she did was go home and heat some shit up in the microwave and sit in front of the TV and start watching TV. She just started remembering how she and her dead boyfriend used to do that. Sit on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah. Tell you what, do you blame Hop for wanting to fuck Winona Ryder?
No, she looks pretty hot for her age.
She looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Tease her hair up a little bit, mix in a comb. She could look pretty good.
Yeah, she's got that tawdry look about her.
Yeah. Nice perky, heavy tits under that big shirt. I like when they have her running around in her big...
That was Chris's takeaway from the whole season. Yeah, the season was good, but man, Winona Ryder, big heavy tits under her big shirt.
Well, there's no other chicks that I can really look at. Fucking Elle is like 15 in real life, and Max is probably 13 or whatever. So I'm not.
I did like that milfy mom, that Mrs. Wells or Mrs.
Oh, yeah. The swimming mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Wheeler, the milfy mom.
Yeah. The hey, do you want a private lesson? See, look at those tits on her. They're not huge or nothing, but they're.
Well, she's proportionate.
Yeah, those are some good boobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I like her with better hair than she has in this naked photo in the chat room.
Right.
I do like me some Winona Ryder.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing that I noticed was kind of out of place.
Yeah.
Was when they stole the Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to stop, and when the guy was filling up the Cadillac with gas, and he went out there and commandeered the Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
He took the gas pump out of the nozzle out of the gas tank.
Yeah.
And it had the newest one of those air pollution boots on it.
Oh yeah, the plastic boot on the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just being raw.
Exactly. It's like, oh, that's got the newest boot thing on the nozzle.
Yeah. No, I thought the season was great. I loved it. I thought that the what do you call it? The CGI was excellent. That goo,
monster thing.
Yeah, and all the goo and the rats blowing up and shit. That was cool.
And people just falling and melting on the ground.
And then getting sucked into the creature. That was awesome.
Yeah, you know what that reminded me of? Kind of the same concept.
What's that?
Was the Terminator 2.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because that Terminator was made out of that molten metal shit.
Yeah.
And it would always just suck back into him whenever he came up on a piece of it.
Yeah, this was just a grosser version because everything that blew up just looked like a bag of vomit, which was kind of cool. It was like a vomit creature. It was a big, ugly, slimy creature, and I liked that part when they cut her leg open and then she like pulled it out with the magic or whatever you call that shit.
Yeah, and even after Hop stomped on it, that monster guy came in there. Yeah. It still sucked into his part of his being.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was. I thought this was the best season of the three.
Yeah, it was real good.
I thought it was excellent. I hate it that now we got to wait another fucking year. I love the binging and I hate the binging all at the same time.
I'm with you. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is Jason Loon calling. Yeah, I just saw Stranger Things, but like I said, I haven't seen the last 3 episodes, but I didn't listen to that podcast, so yeah, but the season 3 season's very good though. Although I prefer the season 1 the best. Season 2 is okay, but the season 3 is very good too.
Okay.
Well, what part did you like the best?
The part I like the best, the season 3?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Oh, season 3? Oh, the part I like the best was the malls they have there. Like when they're at the movie theater, like they went to go see Day of the Dead. There's one person I was arguing with in the chat saying like it took place in 84. I was like, no, it didn't. It takes place in 85, which I was telling that guy that says, you must have saw the beginning of the season 3 of Stranger Things that took place in Russia. It's just like a year later or something like that. But I did correct him saying, like, yes, they got the release date right, and they got the year of 1985 being the release of Day of the Dead.
And they were showing Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that poster. They got the shit down to the details, man.
Mm-hmm. They definitely do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Winona Ryder. Oh yeah, she's still hot. She's got one of those like hot mom look to her now.
Yeah, she's a MILF.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One of the hottest MILFs ever.
Well, there's a fan of yours, Chris.
Oh, fan of everybody should be a fan of hot MILF Winona Ryder. Jesus.
Of course, when you mention like Linda Cardellini, she's also a hot MILF in those Daddy's Home movies.
Mm-hmm. Linda Cardellini's hot. If you want to see Linda Cardellini is the hottest, even though she doesn't get naked or anything. There's an episode in one of the later seasons of ER where she's wearing a white shirt and she's running in the pouring rain, like after some guy like tries to rape her or kill her or some shit. And oh my God, those fucking bouncy titties of hers just fucking running around in the rain. That is fucking spectacular.
Oh yeah. I love that scene. Also, there was that scene where like she was almost naked making out with Uncle Jesse from Full House, John Stamos.
Yeah. Uncle Jesse gonna give her a Michelling.
Have mercy.
All right, dude.
So anyway, though, just to go a little bit off topic, though, I've heard you say, like I saw, like chat with you said you saw the AEW like Fire Fest. The Fire Fest pay-per-view was like very good, but the Double or Nothing one was the best.
I don't disagree.
I guess the Fire Fest is
Firefest was okay, but the problem with I personally could give two shits about gaming. So when you had the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega doing the fucking Street Fighter characters in the ring and shit,
I marked down that one.
That was cheesy.
You thought it was cheesy? I marked out like I was actually 9 or 10 years old because I was like when Street Fighter 2 was real popular, so I was like, oh my God.
Street Fighter 2 is just a poor man's Mortal Kombat, so I thought it was shit.
Well, actually, Street Fighter 2 came before Mortal Kombat, but you can say Mortal Kombat was better and more violent, but yeah.
Street Fighter 2 came before Mortal Kombat? I don't think so.
What's that?
Street Fighter 2 came before Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, 1991. Mortal Kombat came out in 92.
Could be wrong. I remember owning both, and I would have swore I owned Mortal Kombat first.
Well, you gotta look up like Wikipedia or something like that, and like or not Wikipedia. It's probably like unreliable. Just look up like Google or something like that, saying when did Mortal Kombat come out or when did Street Fighter 2 come out. Anyway, Firefest was great though, but I didn't get to see the Paul Heyman led one though. But hopefully, the Paul Heyman one, the clips I did see were fucking amazing. Kofi giving the middle finger and like Kofi slamming like Bobby Lashley's at the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. It was definitely good.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, all I gotta say is hail, kill, fuck you, hand job, see you later.
He got his chance to shine in the sun.
He really wants to talk wrestling.
He does.
And I just don't want to get into a whole wrestling thing just because you have no idea.
Yeah, I have no interest in that. But that's, whatever. Whenever I hear Firefest, all I can think of is that botched concert thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what they were making fun of. This one was called Fighter Fest, and what they did was they did a bunch of skits in between that they didn't have enough money for the band and they didn't have enough money for the costume. I mean, they were making fun of Firefest.
Okay.
And to be honest, you talk about terrible promotion. They're a fucking brand new company, this AEW, All Elite Wrestling. They're trying to compete with WWE. And in their second ever pay-per-view, they're doing skits about not having enough money.
All right.
That's not real smart. It's like, I know it was a goof, and the owner is a billionaire. He's the guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
But man, you do not want to send that message the second time you're doing anything in public saying, yeah, we don't have enough money to do this. It's like, oof, not real smart planning on that one.
Yeah.
But whatever.